Alright, here we go. From Dragon Phoenix Gamers, we have the legend himself, the Protoss player in the blue, Hero.
Dude, look at those glasses.
That's fancy.
Those are good.
You can play so much StarCraft with that.
And his opponent in the top left, the red Zerg player for NT Sports. This is Serral.
Alright. The Phenom himself. Oof. Yeah, I mean, this is... the start wet. What you're expecting here, of course, with the probe coming across hatchery at the third base, Serral. I mean, you don't blink twice at that anymore. You're just like, alright, it's just what it is. Zergs expect it to happen. If it doesn't happen, I feel like if it doesn't happen, it might throw them off more so now than if it does happen.
So, okay, speculate with me here.
All
I
right.
mean, we haven't had a chance to really talk about possible outcomes here. I mean, this
Right.
could be a very even series. I mean, Serral versus Hero is not necessarily certainly like leaning one way or the other.
Nope.
I think it's important for us to like consider all of the options here. Like, who do you think's got the favored advantage here?
All right, so I got some inside knowledge here. Let me see. I think if it's an even game, I think Serral is gonna take it, right? But Hero does have a lot of builds and tricks, and perhaps those are going to be surprising Serral here in a little bit. And thank you, MaxPax, for that insight right there. Very nice.
I love it. If it's an even series and Serral has exactly like 14 extra internets to work with, and the sun's at 47 degrees in the sky, partly cloudy, 14 degrees Celsius, it'll absolutely go towards one of the players in the game.
Yes. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, you know, if it's an even game, starting things off, yeah, I can see that, right? I can see that. If Serral manages to get himself through, he doesn't get tricked. It just stays an equal game, you know, equal footing. I think Serral is gonna take it, right? But yeah, it is kind of up to Hero. The ball is on his court to try and surprise Serral here and there on some occasions, and we'll see if that is going to be happening. And because like I just don't think we're gonna see a move like Dark from Serral here, right? Where he's just gonna go ham straight up. Let's just go for that Nidus Worm, right? It's just not Serral. It's not the way he plays usually.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I think both of these players are going to be like hard to trick, right? They're just so very good at playing standard. Serral, I mean, would be just fine dragging this out. All right, let's play the 20-25 minute game where I have to start picking away at your Skytoss army with Corruptors and Vipers. Like, whatever. Like, that's just going to be his life if he has to lead it. Now, one thing I think is very interesting, though, is Hero's approach here. I mean, he's going for a second Void Ray. I mean, it's been a while since we've really had a Void Ray heavy meta in the PvZ matchup. It's been kind of deviating back and forth. Mostly as of late, it's been more Phoenix play, it's been more Oracle play. But instead, right now, Hero kind of leaning into a little bit of an older meta, but that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I think that Hero could leverage that kind of advantage here as he cranks out a third Void Ray and maybe leverage a little bit of his own map control here.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about it, right? When do we normally see the word Void Ray? It's basically there to try and deny scouting, right? That's what it then gets used for. So this could be Hero trying to convince Serral as well that, like, hey, I'm gonna do something perhaps with the Twilight Council, right? Maybe an Adept Glaive, something of the sorts, something aggressive after this. And this Void Ray is here to make sure you don't see it, but like, yeah, I would not be expecting multiple Void Rays to then suddenly show up. But this is kind of where I wanted to go to with this. What do you do as a response as Serral here, right? You're not quite sure what's happening in his base. You see a fair couple of gateways. And the Void Rays, right? It feels like, oh, there could be something on the ground coming towards me, perhaps, because he's trying to keep me in the dark. And, well, Roach Warren comes up. Void Rays are okay against roaches.
Well, and I think this is the kind of game you have to play against somebody like Serral. You get him to misread the information that's there. Going into this Void Ray harassment is going to be really good at shutting down the space. That's actually a full kill, by the way. That's really well done here. Hero does get a small amount of damage as well. 6 drones is a good pick-off point, and only for the cost of 3 of those adepts. So this is actually a really nice exchange, but you get Serral to make the incorrect read. Okay, wait, my opponent's going for Void Rays. That could very easily be 2 Stargate carrier transition. I mean, maybe he's just going to go straight into Sky Toss with this. But we already know with the tech that we've seen, I mean, there is a Twilight Council, there is a Forge, there's already a Robotics Bay on the way as well. But you do as much as possible to get Serral to think that this is going to be Sky Toss. Get your opponent to go into Aspire. Get those mutas out on the field, get those corruptors out on the field. Then all of a sudden you show up with a whole bunch of Blink Stalker Archon, and suddenly it's like, well, wait a minute, this isn't what I was planning for. This wasn't the information I was given.
Oh, no.
Potentially very devastating there. Losing out on that to Warp Prism. Not a great situation here. That's going to hamper Hero's chances to do exactly what we were just talking about, because the Spire's already on the way, Kozan.
Yeah, Hero's gonna have to hang back here a little bit after that, taking down that 4th base. I mean, it was a good start, but the follow-up is now not really gonna be there when that Warp Prism's not there. At least a little bit of harassment here or there would have been absolutely lovely at this point, but it's just not gonna happen. Serral allowed to drone up a bit further, and well, he does have his 4th base established. I'm a bit surprised we didn't quite see the 5th base go up just quite yet. We see a lot of Zergs right now, just kind of taking the 4th and the 5th at the same time, right? Just in case if one of them gets taken out, you still have the other one. But yeah, maybe this just is speaking volumes about the how Serral's feeling a little, well, comfortable. He's not gonna lose that.
I mean, I think not only killing off that Warp Prism, but seeing it might start to confirm some information for him where this could potentially snowball into better things for him. He does have 10 mutas on the way, which is good. And at this point, Hero not in a great position to really respond to it. Now that he loses out on that earlier harassment, suddenly he's not going to be able to capitalize on that misinformation that he was trying to feed to his opponents. So having to keep these Void Rays together with the Stalker is going to be really imperative, and getting overwhelmed here is not going to be an acceptable outcome.
Alright, Disruptor's keeping the Stalker safe there for a little bit. Mutalisk will be finding a probe line here, rather exposed, as Hero does not seem to be ready for it whatsoever. Immediately has to recall his presence across the map here, and that opens up the Queens once again to start spreading creep as quickly as they would like to. Once again, Serral's got to be having a nice little breath here once again. Without the Protoss on his front door, his Roaches and Zerglings able to just kind of continue forwards as well. The Mutalisk absolutely annihilating 11 probes there. And, well, the Stalk is trying to catch up, but Mutalisk are quick, slippery fellas. Oh, the things I've heard Protoss set players say about Mutalisk. Rushi. Oh my.
Dude, have they ever heard of the unit called the Phoenix? I mean, he's pretty good.
He's making them, alright. He doesn't have them yet. They're coming, but oh, this is rough. Alright. They are now.
I don't think it's going to get to that point.
Where's the rest of his army? More probes are going to go down. I mean, we're still at an okay-ish amount, but then we see another blob of red entering the 4th base here on the minimap, and yeah, that's just not enough. There's just not enough. This base is going to go down, right? Either this base is going to go down or most of the probes will.
Oh, I think at this point, I think Hero's lost too much. Even if Hero were able to try and clean up the entirety of this army, losing 20 probes, losing access to a lot of just the peace in his own base is really starting to hamper his ability to recover here. There's just no static defense. I'm surprised that there was never a response to the mutas that did come out. So all of the metagaming and the mind gaming that I talked about with Hero potentially doing, nope, none of it. None of it was there. Mutas were a surprise to Hero himself.
There it is. GG. Well played by Serral. In the top right side, Dragon Phoenix Gamers. The blue Protoss. Is he going to be able to get 2 victories in a row? It is Hero.
And his opponent. Bottom left, the red Zerg player for NT Sports. It is Serral. All right, so the question here is like, all right, he's got that chair in the corner. When is that chair going to have to be removed for another trophy cabinet?
I mean, it already looks like he's a bit boxed in, right? Like just trophy cabinets everywhere. Yeah, well, you know, he's got an entire house, I believe, at some point, right, from the Finnish government.
Oh yeah, I haven't followed all of the details on that, but like, what a wild thing to think about.
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
I mean, props to him. Obviously, like, it's very deserved. Like, no disrespect there, but just the thought of like, hey, you are so good at video games and representing our country. Here is property for you. You're welcome.
For humiliating all these Korean players everywhere around the world. As the first non-Korean player, here you are. Thank you for your service, sir. Yeah, no, it's wild. It's awesome though. I love that this is the times that we live in. It's so cool.
Yeah, like at some point in like previous years, there was like a bounty at the Olympics. It's like, if we're able to beat South Korea on the main stage, like we'll offer that person or team this amount of property, and nobody claimed it. And then Serral comes in and is like, ha ha ha, I have an opportunity. Technically, this works.
Yep. All right. Ooh, a robo opening here out of Hero. Okay, interesting.
Robo first, huh?
You think like maybe a drop or something with the Colossus or Disruptor? We see that sometimes. But,
I mean, I would yield to Speed Disrupt or like Speed Prism with Disruptors inside before I would say a Colossus drop.
He could just go Immortals as well, right?
Oh, I'd be like, I feel like Immortals would be incredibly, like, that could be incredibly risky. It might be a high risk, high reward situation, but I would definitely say, like, Disruptor drops where my gut sensation is going to be. I mean, we're going to get that robotics facility, and my guess is a robotics bay is going to follow almost immediately, and Hero is banking up the resources to be able to build that. It's not going to be proxied, so Serral's not going to see it there, and there goes the robotics bay. So more than likely, very quick Disruptor timing, which could potentially be very good. There's a lot of dead space on Data C for Hero to zip back and forth with. I could see this having some success here if he can draw Serral off of his guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough, right? It's a strategy that I feel like it could catch Serral off guard, but at the same time, as soon as he realizes that something like this could be afoot, he's gonna be looking for it, right? He is, and man, he's a quick fella. He'll be looking and trying to avoid it, and probably be quite successful in most cases, right? When he's trying to do that. Overlord gets taken out. That's a big deal as well, right? Not gonna be able to gather any intel about the situation that he's finding himself in. The Stalker there, a little bit of an update, you know, less likely that it is a Stargate now. Because then you just get the Stargate unit to kill the Overlord with. You don't have to make the investment for the Stalker there. And the Adept is just a little bit more useful for scouting across the map.
Well, I think he has the accurate read on a robotics facility because there was an observer that helped spot for that Stalker. So the existence of the observer definitely puts life into a situation. But look at this. It's going to be charge, and it's going to be a whole bunch of gateways. So it's not even going to be a speed prism here. It's just going to be a normal disruptor drop, but will be an immense amount of production back behind this. I don't think a third base is going to be fully on the menu. Sure, he's going to go place it down just for show, but I imagine we're just going to see a whole lot of zealots on the rebound.
Yeah, that is seemingly to be what's in the works here. With an Immortal as well. There we go. That's the first shot. Actually gets 4 drones right off the bat. Gets a good amount of those larvae as well, which is pretty neat. Pretty neat. Slows down the production of Serral there a little bit.
Oh, I mean, this is wild. This feels very similar to like jazz improv at this point, where like we've got all these like normal metas, and it just feels like, you know what? Yeah, this song's really cool, but what if I change the notes and rhythm a little bit? Yeah, because see, there we go. We're not getting that third base down. Serral is going to see that happening. Charge is going to be finishing up here, and that should trigger a response here from Serral. He immediately is going to start trying to fortify. He's going to throw down a spine crawler. The improv, he's like, I've heard this tune before. I think I know where this is going, is slowly developing here for Hero. This is kind of an interesting moment.
He was still targeting down the queen or the drones with those disruptors. I'm almost wondering if he should have tried targeting the queens to just get them to use all their transfuse up. Here we are. That's a lot of zealots. The Immortal there. The sentries are there as well, ready to throw down the force fields. Immortal fully surrounded. That could be a nice pick off there for Serral to really try to slow down the damage this push is doing. Oh, disruptor shot into the drone line. Does manage to pick off a couple more there. This Hero is, well, starting to have his units carved up a little bit. There is more zealots ready to reinforce. Other reinforcements for Serral going to be enough now to hold this. It looks like just barely. Ooh, disruptor. Oh, that could. Sorry, that could switch it up for quite quickly, huh?
Yeah, I think this is actually a massive hold here for Serral. I mean, the Hero doesn't have a third base back behind this. Ooh, okay, a few more zealots coming in here. This isn't quite done just yet. Hero's got enough units here to overwhelm these roaches if he's not careful. A few of these workers getting transferred back into the natural are going to be attacked as well. Only 2 have gone down so far, but look at that additional warp in here. This is starting to become a very scary situation here. As long as Hero can maintain a close to equal army supply against Serral, the Protoss player's not out of it.
Yeah, Serral here trying to just buy himself time by luring these zealots across the map. Here and there, turning around for a bit of damage as well. But, you know, the most useful thing right there is that they're keeping all those zealots away from the rest of his units. They're going to be able to try and gather up some more. Yes, yep, there we go. Just keep running. Just keep running, boys. They're doing pretty well, actually. They killed a lot of those zealots so far. And, well, ooh, Serral. Okay. Supply is starting to grow a little bit again, but he's got a lot of busy work to do with this micro here. That was such a quick turnaround. That was such a, like, he clicked that the moment when Hero pressed the button to use it. Ooh, there you go. That is still a hit.
Oh, that was a huge disruptor shot here. I think Hero has finally gotten the damage that he needs to close this out, or at least make this count. 10 workers have been killed. Oh, the surround on all these units on the ramp. That's going to be every queen going down. A couple of those queens caught off a creep, so they can't transfuse. And a Hero with the Gateway Man strategy. I think he might just be able to close out game 2 and take it to the ace match here.
Yeah, man. It's as Max Beck said. Yeah, if Hero does that trick, he'll get the victory. If it goes even, well, Serral wins.
So it's going to spawn in the bottom left of Tropical Sacrifice. The blue Protoss player for Dragon Phoenix Gaming want to make it a PvP in the winner's match. This is Hero.
The top right side, his opponents. It's the Red Zerg from Finland and Z-Sports, Serral.
I mean, it's a guaranteed path to success if you are like someone that I want to see Protoss make it into the quarterfinals. I mean, a PvP in the winner's match, kind of a guarantee at that point. So why not? But that would mean a Serral Raynor losers match. That would just be, it'd be very interesting. Definitely a difficult one to call, watch. It's like, who do you cheer for at that point?
So, who do I cheer for at that point? No, wait. It was a general question, wasn't it? Sorry, I was in my own fantasy world, Rushi. I was thinking about something. You see, I was thinking about how I would.
The winner's match.
No, if like I was thinking about, right? This is my fantasy world that I go to sometimes. If I was Serral, how would I try to display all my trophies? And I thought it would be really funny to just kind of have them spread across the floor behind me. Like very nice, and then just be like, yeah, I had some kids play with them. It's fine. just one somewhere underneath a pillow, you know, just thrown about in the room. But yeah, luckily it's not me having all those trophies. I would disrespect the trophies. All right.
Okay, here's an interesting question for you.
Continue.
Serral opens pool gas in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on that?
Just a quick little safe way here, it seems like. I mean, he's up against the trickster spirit himself, right? He'll want to be safe, and he wants to know what's happening, so he's just gonna go around, right? It could be a map where we have some sort of a proxy going around. I don't think it's out of the question, but we're still seeing drones behind this, right? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it is just him being extra safe. Is it gonna harm him in the long run? Well, we'll see. It's, yeah. I think he's gonna be okay, right? I think he'll be okay. As long as he sees what Hero is doing. He's gonna be able to find his way to you know, a winnable position.
Well, he's gonna head the same direction once again. He's getting that robotics bay very, very early on. I think we're gonna get speed this time around. I think we will actually see a speed disruptor this time. Oh, he's actually just going to go straight into the warp prism. Did he even allow the observer to finish? Oh yeah, I think he did. Yeah, the observer was done. So right into a warp prism. It will be interesting to see how that develops forward here, but the scouting information is going to be really important for Serral. He did get really good reads on the lack of the third base timing in the previous game, but just didn't have quite the right information he needed to capitalize on that. And I don't think Serral will fall victim to that twice. He has a little bit better Overlord placement this time around, which will be important. It's just a matter of gathering that information.
Yeah, exactly. As he's going to go up against, well, similar things here with the warp prism speed, disruptors. And he did seem to struggle a little bit more here and there defending against those disruptor drops. You know, he did lose, I think it was like, I saw one shot with like 5 roaches, one with like the 4 drones. Definitely something he needs to tidy up here if he wants to have a very solid win. Which he always chases.
Well, Serral's going to have better scouting information this time around. He is going to be able to see, and some really good critical information. We'll see that the robotics bay just finishing up what would more than likely be gravitic drive. He's not going to see the second disruptor, but I don't think he needs to at this point. I think he's got enough to work with here that he's going to be able to start massing his defense. The lair about halfway done at this point, and now it's going to be up to Serral to try and mitigate this damage. And Queen's already in a really strong position. Some good pulls to start things off. I think things are going well so far for the Finnish Phenom.
Yeah, that was lovely. He just knew it was coming, and now he's just ready for it. So it's going to be up to Hero to dig a little deeper in the bag of tricks here to try and find himself some other opportunity. The Warp Prism is just going to float around, of course. There is going to be potential. But, well. This is Serral we're talking about. He should be able to keep everything in place and not lose too much here, now that he's fully aware of his situation. There's some sort of a follow-up here with 5 gateways finishing up. That could still catch him off guard, of course. So he's still making, well, a few drones. He's interspersing it with roach production as well, and that should keep him safe here.
Well, I kind of like the I kind of like the path that he's taking this time around. Doesn't have to hit the same markers this time. Ooh, getting a couple of those queens with disruptor shots and a nice start to this engagement. But since it's not a charge lot all in, I mean, this has a little bit more opportunity for development. Blink Stalkers can go a little bit further into the game. I think their power does stick around just a little bit longer comparatively. And if he's not able to get exact damage done right now, I don't think that's a major issue. Although he's got to be careful here. These units... Oh, okay, it was actually just the roaches. It wasn't the queens. I was thinking the queens were going to get on top of that warp prism once again. And it's like, no, hero, don't commit the Maxback's mistake.
Yeah. That was him as well, right? In game 1, was it? He lost one too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's been a day of confused warpers and pilots, it seems. Oh dear.
I mean, he is getting a lot of value out of these disruptors, but it's mostly just zoning. At some point, the zoning needs to turn into actual damage. And now that the Spire is completed, we're getting some Mutalisk out on the field. There's not a lot of anti-air that's going to be needed to push this away. It's going to be more focused on making sure the ground is covered, since that's going to be where a bulk of the damage is going to be coming from. And that was a good grab on one of the disruptors. There is a second one, so it's not a complete loss here, but this will be a really powerful engagement here.
All right, Roach is on to that plentiful. There's some Banelings here coming forwards, but again, it's not that much. As Serral just not made enough units here, but Zerglings come in. They're pretty strong against Stalkers. Some Mutalisk ready to help out with the Warp Prism, so that goes down. No further reinforcements available for Hero, as he is now on a pathway back to his own base, tail tucked between his legs. And Serral looking mighty fine here with an almost 60 supply lead. 50 supply lead.
You can just keep counting that up. 40, 30,
So
20.
it's only 10 now. It's significant. It is.
It's significant how insignificant it no longer is.
Right, Mutalisk now on a tear here through the probe line. The Stalker's trying to mitigate the damage, but 9 probes have been found out, and that puts Serral on a comfortable worker lead now as well.
Oh, the forward 4th base there for Hero. Holy cow, that's a bold move there, just dropping that Nexus right in the bottom center of the map. That's going to be very difficult for him to anchor down, especially since now it's going to be scouted, so Serral's going to be aware of its existence. And also, the creep spread is kind of pushing in that direction already, so that's going to be another obstacle that he has to try and overcome. But clearly, he's decided that's the direction he wants to go. But look at the supply difference here, 173 to 118. After losing out on that engagement on the opposite side of the map, Hero is having a difficult time trying to rebound on his army count.
Yeah, I like this kind of 4th base, though. It has the feeling of Serral keeps doing the counter-aggression, talking about counter-aggression, Banelings into that probe line. More devastating trouble for Hero there. But yeah, you know, he wants to be forwards with his units. He wants to try and trade efficiently here, and he's continuously having to run back with all these Zerglings running into his probe line, Banelings coming in, all that sort of stuff. So the shorter the distance between him and his enemy here should theoretically benefit him, right?
Yeah, I think that benefits the Zerg player more than it does the Protoss player, but it makes sense. Like, I agree with you. I don't know if Serral's the opponent to do that to.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. If it works, it's going to be wonderful. If it doesn't, well, he is going to die a little bit quicker, it seems. Alright, Roaches do manage to take out that Nexus, so that's how far that story goes.
There's damage in the main happening right now as well. I imagine that's Mutalisks all the way up there. That is
it doesn't mean anything. GG.
Yeah, just a metric ton of damage here by Serral, and he advances on to the winner's match, 2-1 in this series.